being a boss babe, hashtag gaslight gatekeep girl boss, by posting 2 days in a row. At least I'm filming this 2 days in a row. I'm sorry if like the volume audio sucks. I'm recording on my Mac and I'm using like the built-in MacBook recorder instead of like the real thing, like voiceover. Yeah, anyway, so today I'm going to be showing you guys how to shade on medibang. So shout out to Miss Luck, sorry, not Miss, Mr. Luck, and some other people in Discord for asking for this tutorial. I wasn't gonna make one, but since you guys asked, I mean, like, yeah. Ew, that was so cringy. Okay, anyways, so I already have my little outline and color layer ready for you guys, so you know, it just speeds up the process a little bit. Yeah, so before we begin, I'm just gonna say this because it is so important. Like, you guys don't even know how important this is. Always study wrinkle flow before you begin shading. That is my number one tip for you guys. You can go onto pinterest.com. As you can see here, it's a bit laggy, I'm sorry, but pinterest.com, search wrinkle flow drawing clothing, and there is literally an abundance of well, there are very weird pictures, but you guys are gonna find good ones like this one. They're really good for helping you understand wrinkle flow. Like, I can't even stress how important this is. Always make sure that you have a full understanding of the flow of fabric, etc. If not, your drawings are just gonna look like unrealistic and kind of gross. No offense, but yeah. So I wouldn't say I'm a very good shader, but like, I can say that I am a bit more advanced than most designers. I guess you could say that. I don't know, but let's get started. So let's say your base color is pink. Most people would just go into another layer, click black, and then just start shading with like any random pen. No, do not do that. Trust me, you do not want to do that. So let's just get into it. First, you're gonna click on the new layer button. It's like right here, the first one. Then click clipping. Now you're gonna not want to use any of these brushes. Don't even think about it. Use airbrush. And you want to keep the, I don't know what this is called, but the second part very low and very minimal. I usually put it about 10 to 20%, never higher than that. Trust me, you don't. I can't really explain why, but trust me on this one. And for brush control, do not put it too small. Like, no. You want it to be, for proper flow in shading, it should be 7 to 10. Don't really recommend going larger, but you can, you know. And for the color, obviously we're not going to shade in the same color. You're going to want to pick slightly darker, and you don't want to go down. No, do not ever go down. This will, I mean, you can go down, but not too far, because it gives it a very dirty tinge. You just want to, you know, try to stay as close to the top as possible. You can go as dark as you want, honestly. It doesn't really matter. I prefer to go like if my starting color is about here, then I would go slightly in the middle, like here, maybe a bit darker, but not really. So, as you can see, my 7 brush is just perfect. So first, let's start with the flow of fabric. So fabric is obviously going to flow. It has to look like it will flow in a natural direction. Like, it won't flow in very odd places. So don't make like weird wrinkles. So this is the top of your shirt, so you want to kind of make little wrinkles flowing down here. And because the shirt slants down, it would obviously create a few wrinkles. And at the bottom, it would go up a bit, just a little bit here. So it would kind of look like this, sort of. Try not to crowd it too much with wrinkles, because it does tend to look very crowded and gross. Now, I'm obviously not going to leave it like that. I'm using the Smudge Brush. I'm bringing it down to slightly larger than the size that I use for the airbrush, and I'm just making the ends a bit more feathery while maintaining natural wrinkle flow. So like this. I'm sharpening this edge a bit, and I'm bringing this up. So this is essentially how wrinkle flow should look like, in my opinion. Like, this is just how I would normally shade my clothes. And wait, let me do the arms as well. So for the arms, these are the arms, by the way. I'm not gonna do the sides and the back because they're pretty self-explanatory. If you know how to do the front, you'll know how to do the sides. But some people do have like a bit more difficulty doing the arms, so I'm just gonna help you out with that. Also, if y'all hear like background noises, it's because my neighbor is doing renovation. I feel like they're always doing renovations, but yeah. So for the arms, it's kind of the same. It's definitely a lot about wrinkle flow. At the arm part, the fabric is more likely to flow downwards if it is bigger. So we just want to bring that out down a little bit at the corners to indicate folding, and at the bottom it would kind of fold upwards, and sometimes in the middle there's also like just one line. So this doesn't look very natural for arms, but trust me, it is. Okay. Also, I realized that I missed out that like small part. Just ignore it. Yeah. Anyway, so now we go back to the smudge brush and we do the same. We feather it as such, making it look natural and flowy. And yeah, this part is honestly really easy. I find shading pretty easy. I'm not really sure why people find it hard. You just need like a bit of tips and tricks. So this is just do what feels most natural for you. You don't have to follow me like exactly, because you know everyone has different styles of shading. Try to experiment, find something to your liking. So this is how I like my shading to be. Just gonna fix it like a little bit, make it a bit more natural, like that. Now you could leave it like this without changing the opacity, but in my opinion it looks a bit harsh, so I like to lower the opacity just a little bit, like this. Don't go all the way down, you can barely see anything. I mean, you could, but it would depend. Personally, I like my shading to be more noticeable, so I keep it maybe around the 50s range, kind of. If it looks too harsh still, then I would continue to blend it out with the smudge. And if you like your shading to be very minimal, not noticeable, then you could go further down like this. So it's still like you can still see that there's shading, but it's not very obvious, you know. But again, I like mine to be more obvious and harsher, so I'm gonna keep it at the 43. If you feel like it doesn't really blend very well, you can either change the hue by unclipping this, adding another layer, clipping, selecting a different color, and just like coloring over it, you know, like this. You could do that, but I personally won't, because I like the color that it's at right now. And yeah, so this shading in particular is basically wrinkle flow. You could stop here if you want, but you don't have to. Another tip, if you want highlights on your shirt, you can duplicate the layer like such, unclip it, add another layer, clip it, swap your color to white, and then just color over it like so. I don't know why it looks like that. Hold on. Yeah, okay, I have no idea what's going on. But yes, I just color it like such. Color it white. Then so yes, you can see the white now. I merge this downwards and I Command T and I push it slightly upwards as such, and then I put it back into clipping mode, and I change the opacity to lower it slightly down, a bit more down, if that makes sense. The white makes it look a bit more unnatural, so you might have to like play with the opacity to find what works best with you, sort of. Yeah. And another tip, don't let your fabric get stagnant. If at any point you realize that one patch just seems very straight, then, you know, fix it. Another way you could consider shading, you can do this alone or together, depending on your shading style. But you could also do something that I call box shading, and a lot of people also call box shading. So you go back to the airbrush, you click, you choose your color. This one, for box shading, I usually go darker, like a bit much more darker. And I go to airbrush, I make it slightly bigger, and I just, as the name suggests, box shades. Ew, that sounded so weird when I said that, sorry. But yeah, this is how I box shade. I just go over the outline with my airbrush as such, and I lower the opacity. And if you feel like your airbrush isn't quite like blending enough, you could also go to filter and Gaussian blur it to your liking. I don't usually go above a 5 or a 7 because I feel like it wouldn't really blend well if you do. Yeah, so I just lower the shading a bit like that, and ta-da! This is probably the most basic shading tutorial that I could give y'all. I'm sorry, but this is basically just, you know, for beginners. You might not like this way of shading, and that's fine. Just keep experimenting with whatever you have. Yeah, so thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Oh, I forgot to add one thing. You could also add boob shading. I wouldn't really recommend this, especially if you don't want to get moderated. But if you feel a little bit risky or you're going for realism, you could basically just go to your airbrush, click white or your highlights color, and then just like draw that. Lower the opacity a teensy bit. Hold on, I made it a bit too small. I mean, it depends on your idea of boob shading, I guess. I don't do boob shading, so I wouldn't really know much about it. But yeah, so I do that, then I just flip it, bring it like here, apply, Command T again, and then I just put it down like that. Yeah, so that's basically it for boob shading, I guess. Just lower the opacity to your liking. I feel like boob shading doesn't look very realistic when I do it, so I don't know, I don't recommend it. But just do whatever makes you feel comfortable. Yeah, thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you guys somehow, some way maybe. Yeah, and if you liked it, please subscribe. We're like 2 subscribers away from 100. I'm so honored. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.